Hey everyone, it's Alisha Braché here at Cosmic Gateway. This is chapter 2 of Cosmic Q&A. So this has come from Sarah. I'm kind of going to summarize. So this answer or Q&A will be around the theme and topic of divine unions, divine counterparts and soul connections. And more specifically, looking at the energetic template of like where things are at. And I might cover that more in updates because I do feel that there's a lot that is shifting and changing in the relationship template, especially when it comes to high level soulmates and divine partnerships. There is definitely a lot changing. As we get to September, October energies, there's always a big shift in that comes about. But this question is more specifically around understanding what is deemed, I'm going to put labels around it, karmic partners, third parties, spell work, ritual, psychic attack, and magic, and why that happens or how that happens from a higher perspective. What is the best way to work through it? And basically trying to navigate that. So often many people, when they are on a divine soul counterpart journey, they will encounter what can be perceived or expressed as dark forces, dark energy, that can come in so many different forms. And often people relate to it as it is the karmic partner of their counterpart. This can be the case, and I've seen this through many client sessions where people are literally being targeted or having psychic attack, energetic attack, that is definitely coming directly from a specific person, whether it's out of spite, of jealousy, of, wanting to be that person. There's so many different reasons as to why this happens. What I always say is try to look at it from a space of neutrality. Especially in this question that Sarah put out, she's like, I have never met this person. Why am I undergone some quite serious dark magic and spell work? Oh, it's such a big one to unpack, but I'm going to try and keep it simple and easy to understand from the layers of dimensional perspective. Quite often, we can pinpoint it as coming from a specific person or group of people. And that is often when we're starting to go through our initiatory phase of going through the ascension pathway, essentially. We're going from, and I'm just going to break it down in 3-4D just to give some sort of understanding that everyone can sort of grasp onto. But we're going from a one state of consciousness that's in huge density, which we might call as 3D, and we're transitioning through the 4D initiatory pathway into 5D and beyond, so a much higher level of consciousness. And in that 4D passageway, it gets really murky. It gets very confusing. There's a lot of illusions, but it's essentially that is the pathway that is teaching us self-mastery. So whether it's through divine connection, black magic, spell, ritual work, which a lot of people do experience, it can come through that without a divine connection. There are people who are targeted individuals because they have, from a soul frequency level, such powerful potency. They're a change maker. Therefore, there is a level of initiation to kind of unravel what is not of that. So coming back to an individual, we're looking at sort of like a three-part, what do they call, a third-party triangle situation. Often the person who is projecting let's say the psychic attack or ritual spell work is someone who's probably already quite a traumatized individual. Someone who's maybe had childhood trauma that hasn't been healed or addressed. Oftentimes it can be people who have a lot of mental health diagnosis labels. And the reason I bring that up is because often there are entities and attachments that are actually working through that person, manipulating their thoughts and their actions to do these type of things. So it's really about taking the individual or the person out of the equation and looking at the energy behind it, because often it's the energy behind it that is the one that is like catapulting this energy that's impacting you on a physical, emotional, or mental level, or all of it. When you look behind the curtain and have a look at the energies that are influencing this person, who I do believe that people need to be accountable for their actions. It can't be like, oh, I had an entity attachment, so I'm not accountable for, casting black magic or spell work. No, these people just need healing. So it's like applying and seeing it through the lens of compassion and understanding that they're not really in the driver's seat of their human experience and vehicle. There are other energies at play that are manipulating them and perpetuating this kind of karmic cyclical energy that's really not benefiting anyone. So you take the person away, you look at the energy, and then you kind of look at that and assess the energy of what is it actually teaching me? What is it teaching you? It's initiating you to come into your power. Because I do believe that as we pop out the side of, let's say, the 4D passageway, in our energy embodiment and consciousness, we get to a frequency level that completely goes beyond being impacted by anything of that nature. Spell work, rituals, energetic attack, psychic attack, for a distance or remote. We kind of become out of the frequency bandwidth where if someone was doing it, it's like, I wish I had like a diagram, but it's like, let's say we're here and that person's there and there's this energy of black magic or spell work, ritual going back and forth, and it's pinging between two people. So it's literally the energy behind it is taking or looshing from both individuals, and neither are winning. When you work on yourself and look at what are the lessons, what are my blind spots, what are my weak points, what is the cracks in my energy field that is allowing this experience to take place, that empowers yourself and you kind of rise to this point. So this person could still be doing that, but it's not, it's actually dispersing into the ethers. It's not having its potency or impact. Therefore, you're neutralizing it. You're dismantling it. And then that energy may then decide to focus on something or someone else. Hopefully not, but, hopefully it kind of like comes back around and then it then catalyzes that other individual to do some healing work themselves. So I hope that that makes sense from an energetic level of what's happening. And it doesn't necessarily matter because if you've met the person or you haven't. I think a lot of the times there is a higher intelligence of these darker energies that have like you don't need to know on a human level, like you're kind of on that energetic registry, if that makes sense. So I guess that's one component broken down. Secondly, why are divine connections so targeted by this type of energy? And the simple answer is because I truly believe that they are key to this entire ascension process. It's the power of the two that comes together that creates this potency of energetic ripple. Oh, we've got a mosquito in here. Energetic ripple through the collective consciousness that literally signals codes from the sun and brings in that energy of higher frequency and activation. So think about it, when we're in this matrix system and we've got beings that operate at a frequency, like on a soul level, operate at a frequency at a much higher level. And then they come into this gridded matrix that's kind of inverted and the total opposite to the nature of these beings. And then they wander along life just kind of in more of a matrix frequency bandwidth, just blending in, and all of a sudden these two powerful souls who resonate at the same frequency level meet. they activate one another, and it creates an explosion of energy through their own process of remembrance and reawakening and elevation. So what then occurs is, I believe, this is my, there is like a ping that goes off. It's like you trigger an alarm and then you draw attention. So you're in this beautiful space, and then it attracts the opposite, let's say the opposite types of energy. But I do believe that there is, and this is not to be looked at from a victim consciousness level, I do believe that there is a divine orchestration as to why this happens and occurs. This is very much based on the initiations of unraveling what we're not to become who we truly are, which is the most important thing, to get clear on remembrance and our abilities and our mission and what we're here to do on the planet. And it's really potent when it happens through collaboration of souls that know each other that deeply that they can, through the connection, basically bring in the remembrance and the activation that is unstoppable force. And it's through the power of love. So that's why I believe that there is so much interference, or has been, can be, even with couples that are together and landed in a union, not even ones that are in separation. So this is something that I am very passionate about. I know a lot about. I have even taught a course about this. So you may want to have a look through my website and look at Elevate 2 training, which is a combination of 2 training courses, Elevation and Elevate 2, where I completely cover all of this, all the tools, how to work through all of this. I also offer individual divine partnership soul connection sessions where I look at the energetic dynamics of 2 individuals and how it can be worked through and clearing, or looking at what is being faced to help you harmonize and bring more unity into the energetic balance. So I encourage you, if you'd like to dive into this more for your own personal understanding, all the details will be in the description box below. But essentially, just to wrap up, these levels of energies that come at us through these connections essentially are part of a divine tapestry that, even though we may think that we're ready, these connections are such big energies to land and maintain. And so from our yearning human standpoint, we want it. From the bigger perspective, there are things at play that need to transpire. And that could be for one, or for both, or for the actual connection itself. It may be that one is ready and one isn't. There's so many different reasons why these types of energies come in and kind of muddy the water. But essentially, it's these connections are to accelerate your ascension pathway and growth. And it is the fastest track way to go through the awakening and ascension process. And that should be honored and respected for the power that it has. So I hope that I've answered that. I hope that that makes sense. I hope that that sort of lands with anyone who may be going through it or has gone through it from a different perspective. I think I've only touched the iceberg, and I'm happy if you have any more questions around this topic. You can also email me for Cosmic Q&A and I can unpack it there. But until next time, sending so much love and looking forward to connecting with you either individually or in the next video.